it doesn't matter how talented you are, guys. You can have the best talent in the whole entire world, but if you are not consistent with it, then you will not grow, right? Great evening, everybody. It's Camille Aiko out of Cincinnati, Ohio, inspiring you to live the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. So y'all come on in, come chat with me on tonight as we are talking about the 15 invaluable laws of growth. And we tonight are on chapter 5, the law of consistency. So it doesn't matter how late it was, y'all know that I had to come on here tonight when we are talking about this law. But first, before we get into that, I had to come on here and just share my experience and my moments of reflection that I had from an incident today. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't, how do I word this? There aren't a lot of things that move me or get me to a point where like I'm ready to really emotionally act. Let's put it that way. Except for when it comes to my family. It is something about my family where that protector will rise up in me, honey, and we'll go to war. And tonight, that war was about to happen with this little boy at the park. Okay, so let me give y'all this rundown on how I need to reflect on this situation so that I can grow. Because baby, let me tell you, your girl was, me and this kid was gonna have at it. Now, so we're at the park and I'm there with my nieces and nephews. I typically take them to the park on Sundays, just something I do. You know, most of y'all who follow me, you know I'm Aunt Mill, and that's just what we do. So we're at the park and my nephews had a football. And there was this group of kids that came over. They wanted to play, but there was just something about their energy that did not sit right with me. And so I was like, nah, you know, like y'all can't go over there and play with them. You know, and I was just really following my gut, following my intuition. So the kids go away and my nephews start playing catch with these other little kids, and the same group came back over. Now, they're playing. I decide I'm gonna go ahead and get my 30 minutes in of exercise. So I pull out my mat and I'm like right there, like just a couple feet away from them. So I hear this noise and I look up and I see this little boy tackling my nephew. He picks him up, slams him. I'm not even going to relive all of the whole moment because I don't want to go there, and I've been calmed down. All right. So, you know, but at the time I was that chick, okay, with the hands in the air, like me and you is about to have at it, kid, because if you touch my nephew again, right? So anyway, after this, you know, I gather the kids, of course, make sure my nephew is cool. But we had to have a moment of reflection together as a group. And I made sure that I did that. And, you know, and what did they learn from the situation? And we had a word of prayer after it because it was very much necessary. But, you know, as I even sit back and think about it, number one thing that I am taking away and reflecting from this experience is stick with your gut. Right? Stick with your intuition and not just in the beginning, but like hold on to it and don't let your guard down. Because honestly, when those kids came back around, I should have been like, no, you all are not playing with him. Even though I didn't understand why I felt the way that I felt, that should have been the thing. Another thing that I really thought about and reflected about on this experience so that I could grow is understanding, y'all, that, you know, these kids and the issues that we have in black on black crime, it does not start when people are in their adult age. It starts at this age of my nieces and nephews in elementary school, you know, 8, 9, 6, 7. It starts now at this age, and teaching them how to manage their anger, how to play in a way that it can be competitive but still fun, and not feel like, you know, during a game of simple catch with a football has to turn into you slamming some. Listen, this starts at a young age, and it is my responsibility to continue to teach my nieces and nephews and any child that comes in my pathway how to behave and how to act, right? Thirdly, my thing would be is parents, get y'all stuff together, okay? Because we allow our children to do whatever they want to do, say whatever they want to say, because we don't want to be the parent. We want to be the friend of our child. And that is not what your child needs. Your child does not need you to be their best friend. Your child needs you to be the parent, to teach them, to discipline them, to grow them, to mature them into a good citizen, okay? And that's not what's happening out here. It's not what's happening out here at all. And so we have to get to a point of making sure that it's not like, okay, I want to be Susie's best friend, so we're just going to do everything together. And Susie can listen to everything that I listen to and everything that I watch. That's what Susie's going to do because we're best friends. No, baby, you are the parents. Because, and the reason why I say this is because that child was so disrespectful to me. That child was so disrespectful to the adults that were there, or their parents, whoever it was that was with them, right? And so these are my moments of reflection where it's just like, okay, this is the points that I can grow. This is what I need to begin to teach people and how I can begin to help improve the lives of other people. And if I have kids, then this is what I need to be making sure that I do, instead of being like, okay, well, I want to make my child my friend. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. When I was growing up, there was just simply things that I did not do as a child because I had the fear of Nathan and Grace Perry in me. Okay, I knew that if I did certain things, they was going to tear my tail up. And so guess what? I didn't do it. And these kids have no fear of nothing, no fear of authority, no fear of their parents, no fear of God, no fear of anything. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has to stop. And where it's going to stop and then start is at home. It's going to start with you. It's going to start with your children, and not just your children, but any youth around you. This used to be a time or a place where we brought up our children in a community. Now we can't even say anything to another person's child without it being a fight, a fuss. Don't say nothing to my kid. No. If your child is around me, I spank children. If your child is around me, I discipline children. Now, if your child is around me, I love children as well. Y'all know me. I'm Aunt Mill. I love the kids. I will play with you. We will have fun. We will do all of that. But you will be respectful. But you will not, do things that are against my values and my morals. Absolutely not. Some of y'all are just, well, it's just freedom of expression. Let them be who they want to be. And that is why we have the society that we have. Okay? So that is my moment of reflection. And now we can move on to law number 5, which is the law of consistency. So hopefully back then, honey, a look. I be perfecting my look now. All it takes is a look that I can give my nieces and nephews, and they already know, baby. It is a look. But now it's got to be the police got to shoot our kids, and then we want to do something. No, do something right now. Do something right now. When you have control, when you can teach them, when you have a listening ear, before it is too late. Right? Because literally, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, like I said, I didn't want to tell y'all because I didn't want to relive it, but the kid picked up my nephew, slammed him on the rocky path, and stomped his head. Y'all, moment of silence. And then flexed. Baby, if I could have flown across that little path and beat that child's tail at that, if I would have had a belt on me, it tackled, just all types of thoughts. I ain't even gonna tell you all my thoughts that went across my mind when this little kid, but like I said, this was me walking, running across there. Listen, my niece sent word to my sister, like, I ain't never seen Aunt Mill act like that. Baby, you don't want to see me go any further, because that was just, Woo! And it took all of the Jesus. Oh, thank you, Lord. Inside of me, not to be in jail for beating that kid. Okay. So, back to the law of consistency. So, tonight, motivation gets you going. Discipline keeps you growing. Okay. Now, motivation, this is the law of consistency. So, it doesn't matter how talented you are, guys. You can have the best talent in the whole entire world, but if you are not consistent with it, then you will not grow, right? It's kind of weird transitioning into this, but we're going to transition anyway because we need to get this chapter out. So if you want to grow, consistency is key. And I even think about this experience that I just had, just even in my spiritual growth, my mental growth, of being able to identify, okay, what is too much and what is enough to get the point across, to make sure that doesn't happen again, that child backed away from my nephew. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we have to be able to get to a place spiritually where we know what we need to do to be able to stand up for righteousness, but yet not be a spiritual punk. Do y'all feel me? Like, I ain't no punk out here because I love Jesus, and neither should you be. But at the same token, we don't have to live our life like we don't know the Lord when something does happen. Okay? But the consistency in practicing those morals and practicing those values is what gets you to a point of growth, so that when the tough situations come, you don't have to really think too hard about it, because it's already in you, because you've been practicing it, because you already have the habits built, right? So if you want to become more disciplined and consistent in your performance, you need to become more disciplined and consistent in your growth. Take time to consider these 4 questions. So we're going to go through 4 questions that you need to ask yourself about growth. Number 1 is, do you know what you need to improve? He says, and this is by John C. Maxwell, if I didn't already mention that. He says, you must develop yourself to be successful. All of the time, I see people with purpose who are inconsistent in their progress. Oh, baby, you have purpose, but have you been consistent in walking out that purpose? Because that's probably why you haven't seen progress. You've got a business idea that is the bomb, but you have not been consistent in that idea. You have a relationship that could go far and flourish, but you haven't been consistent in that relationship. Let's move on. They have the ambition to succeed and they show aptitude for their job, yet they do not move forward. Why? Because they think they can master their job and not need to master themselves. And so again, that ties back into what I was even talking about, is that we can master being good at something, at a task, at a skill, but we don't know how to master ourselves. So that when situations come up, our emotions take over and you're not able to clearly think about how you need to manage the situation that is going on. Right? So we then could be at a top position on our job, but lose that top position because you haven't mastered yourself. So now you flirting with the secretary. Now you having affairs. Now you spending money on a credit card that doesn't belong to you or doesn't have business expenses attached to it, right? So we are able to master a task or a skill, but we can't master ourselves, and so we end up losing. What is your future is dependent upon your personal growth. Improving yourself daily guarantees you a future filled with possibilities. Okay, so let me move on because this is a lot and I've already gone on for a while. But there's a quote that says, the successful person has the habit of doing the things that failures don't like to do. The successful person doesn't like doing them either. No, do y'all think I like doing Facebook Lives? Not really. Do you think that I like coming on here every day? Not really. I mean, I like talking to y'all. You know what I mean? But if I could go by without having to do certain things, would I not do them? Absolutely. But because you want to be successful, because you want to make an impact, because there are certain things that are attached to your purpose, you create new habits for yourself so that your habits become your success. But you have to be consistent in making the success habits. Too many times we make bad habits what we're consistent in, and so it leads to our demise. But what if you got consistent at the good habits? Let me finish what this man says here. The successful person doesn't like doing them either, but his dislike is subordinate to the strength of his purpose. The more tuned in you are to your purpose, are you tuned into your purpose? And the more dedicated you are to growing toward it, the better your chances of reaching your potential, expanding your possibilities of doing something significant. Okay, number 2, do you know how you are supposed to improve? I really like this part because he begins to talk about how you should improve based on your personality type. Each and every one of us have a different personality. And so when you begin to improve, sometimes you might be improving in the wrong way because you don't understand who you are. You don't understand your personality. So he suggests that you go take a personality test, and then you can base the growth that you need to have or how you're supposed to grow based on your personality. And so there's 4 personalities of the personality types that he likes to go by. And the first is phlegmatic. And so the strength of people with this personality is that they're easygoing and likable, but their weakness is inertia. So if this is you, you're easy, you're outgoing, but yet inertia, you're lazy. You don't really like to get up and do anything. Then how you can motivate yourself is by finding the value in what you need to do. Because when you find value in something, it's almost like there's no stopping you. You can't be turned around, almost stubborn if you would, right? So when you find the value, the next thing is, or the next personality type is the caloric. And the strength of people with this personality type is they take charge easily and make decisions quickly. Their weakness is that they are, if they're not in charge, then they refuse to participate. If you are caloric, how can you tap into internal motivation? By focusing on the choices you can make. Every person is in charge of his own growth. Choose how you will grow and stick with it, right? And then the third one of the most fun-loving of all personality types is the sanguine. Now, they are often the life of every party. Their weakness is the lack of focus. Are you like, I like to go out, I like to have fun, I'm the social butterfly, but yet when it comes down to like really getting zoned in and getting focused on what you want to accomplish, it's like your mind is just a scatterbrain. So what do you need to do? And then the last one, I'm not even going to read all of this. Go do your personality type and read the book, okay? The melancholic, that's the right pronunciation. All right. These are life's perfectionists. Attention to detail is their strength. The problem is in their attention to detail, in perfectionism, that they fear failure, and so they won't do things because they don't want to fail. So understanding what your personality type is, understanding what the strengths and weaknesses are, then you can begin to identify how you personally can improve, because what might motivate me or how I should improve may not be what gets you to get up and improve, right? Okay, so start with the small stuff. Sometimes we start way too big, like the vision is way too big. And when we do too much too soon, that causes us to be discouraged. And so then we quit, right? That's very demotivating. Y'all have experienced that before. So start with the small stuff. Start rewarding yourself based on the personality type and how you can strategically reward yourself so that you can grow, okay? All right. Let me see. I underlined this part. If you want to gain momentum and improve your motivation, begin by setting goals that are worthwhile and highly achievable. Master the basics, then practice them every day without fail. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. I'm going to repeat that again. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gain slowly over time. Sorry, missed my spot. But listen, guys, what do you need to be doing every day? What do you need to be doing every day? Every day that you're not doing. My brother popped on here. You probably wanted to know about the first part. You missed that, brother. You're gonna have to go back on the replay. All right. If you want to grow, don't try to win big. Try to win small. All right. The next thing is be patient. Y'all, it's not going to happen overnight. You have to be patient. I don't care what it is that you're trying to do, whether it's move up the ladder on your job, whether it's trying to build your business, whether it's trying to develop a relationship, whatever it is, you have to have patience. And then value the process. Cultivate the ability to value and enjoy the process of growth. Sometimes it's like, well, it's so painful and it's taking so long and we got all these excuses and we're crying. Hush. Enjoy the journey. Celebrate the growth, because without these tough situations, without things happening to us, then we don't really build the character. Okay. And I don't mean like we have to have some crazy life story, like, you know, we were strung out on drugs and then we lived on the street for 10 years. That's not what I mean. But there are certain life circumstances that are tough situations that you just have to learn how to deal with. Now, if that's your story, that is your story, and it's still your choice and it's still your obligation to learn from it and grow from it, right? Okay, let's move on. Let us move on. So that was all still part of the knowing how to grow. Number 3, do you know why you want to keep improving? Do you know why you want to keep improving? So I'm going to give y'all 7 quick questions on this. If you know your why, and it's solid enough to motivate you, you will consistently grow. There's something that we say in my industry all the time, is that your why should make you cry, or your why should make you fly. Your why should be something that makes you get up in the morning. It should make you get up when you don't feel like it. It should make you stay up when you don't feel like it. Why? Because that why is just so important to you. It is that burning desire that keeps you in go mode, right? So here are the questions. Number 1, do you constantly procrastinate on important tasks? Do you require coaxing to do small chores? Do you perform duties just to get by? Do you constantly talk negatively about your work? Do efforts of friends encourage you or irritate you instead? Number 6, do you start small projects and abandon them? Number 7, do you avoid self-improvement opportunities? If you answer yes to any of these or to many of these questions, you haven't tapped into a strong enough or big enough why to keep you growing. Let me say this too, and this y'all, some of y'all might hop off my live. You may not even agree with this point, but what I have come to understand, guys, is sometimes you say that your children are your whys, but really they are your excuses. Because when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do this for my kids. But then when it comes down to the daily action steps and the daily habits that you need to create, it's the very people that you say you're doing this for that you then make the excuse on why you're not accomplishing it. So I would say to you is, no, I'm not saying that your kids aren't your why. What I'm saying is you have to create a bigger vision around your children being your why, so that you can stick to it and be motivated to move versus being stagnated in a reason on why you can't do. I can't do it because I got to feed my kids. I can't do it because I got to watch my kids all day. I can't do it because I know people who have multiple children who are out here killing the game because they did not make their children the excuse, but they truly did make their children a why in their life. So watch, I want you to make sure you understand how you talk about your children and if they are really your why or are they your excuse. Okay. Next. Number 4, do you know when you are supposed to improve? Life lived for tomorrow will always be just a day away from being realized. Guys, we need to live every day today. We need to live every moment today. Stop living for tomorrow. Oh, I will put it off and do it tomorrow. Oh, I will do it next week. Oh, I will start it on Monday. The more that you put off and the more that you don't start to improve now, the less you will grow. Make today, make right now, make tonight the moment that you are going to decide that you want to grow, that you want to be better than what you were earlier today, to be better than what you were yesterday, right? Okay, there's more, but we're done. So I'm going to do the wrap up here where he does at the end of each chapter, he does applying the law of consistency to your life, and he gives tips on how to do that. So number 1, align your methods of motivation with your personality type. So we got that. So let me give you a couple of examples. Myers-Briggs, type indicator, DISC, D-I-S-C, and personality plus. So guys, go do the personality test. Understand what your personality is, and then begin to reward yourself and make an improvement plan based on your personality type. Number 2, it's difficult to remain engaged in anything if you have not found a way to value and appreciate the process. Make a list of everything you like about personal growth. If your list is very short, really work at it. Anything you can find as motivation will help you to develop better growth habits. So how do you feel when you grow? Make a list of how you feel when you grow. I feel, and then put in the blank. When I grow, I feel, and make a list. Make it as long as you can. I feel good. I feel accomplished. I feel like, write down all of those things. Number 3, the more whys you have for pursuing your personal growth on a daily basis, the more likely you will be to follow through. Start compiling those whys. Why are you doing what you are doing? Why are you doing what you are doing? Make a list. Make it a long list. Several whys, 20 whys, 50 whys. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Because let me tell you, sometimes you put down a why, you accomplish that why, and then you don't have anything else to go for, right? So you might say, okay, well, I'm doing this because I want to buy a house. I want to do my dream vacation. I want to buy a car. I want to do this so that my kids can, have a good start to life. I want to be able to buy investment properties. Then you achieve that. What's next? What's next? So you cross that off. That's no longer a why. If you achieved it, it's no longer a why. So your why has to be big. Your why has to be a good vision. Your why has to be, multiple things that's going to keep you pushing that even after you achieve them, you still have something to live for. You still have purpose, right? Okay. Start compiling those whys. Think of immediate benefits as well as long-term ones. Consider reasons related to purpose. And I've kind of already said this in my little tangent I had there, or not a tangent, but my own thoughts. Consider reasons related to purpose, vision, and dreams. Think of how it will help you relationally, vocationally, and spiritually. Any reason to grow is a good reason as long as it is your reason, baby. So, y'all, thanks so much for listening and joining in with me on tonight. That's my time. Camille, Aiko out of Cincinnati, Ohio, inspiring you to live the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. Good night.